Live from the campus of Southern University, it's the Bottom Line TV show, bringing real truth to today's problems. And now, your host for the Bottom Line TV show, Mr. Bruce Walker.
Welcome to the Bottom Line, and I'm your host, Bruce Walker, first giving my obedience to Christ, who's truly the head of our lives. This week, we're talking about financial literacy and how your credit score may be hindering your employment opportunities. Join us. Welcome, LaShawn, and here again, thank you for coming back because, the last time we had you here, you was talking to us about credit, and because that is such an intricate part of what I like to refer to as the trap of the gap. And, the trap of the gap is the gap is the difference between the haves and the have-nots. Mm-hmm. And the trap is all of these little things that keep us from getting to the next level.
Precisely.
And, you specialize in one of them, which is credit.
Yes.
And how mismanagement of your personal credit and your personal credit score can hinder you. So, I can't thank you enough for coming back and telling us so much more about this. And to be honest, the reason I brought you back because of the response we got from the first show.
Oh, great.
Because it was a lot of people saying they appreciated the insight that was given on that first show. So thanks again. And your area of expertise when it comes to credit affects every adult in America.
Exactly.
Because we all have a credit score, just like we all have a social security number. In today's society, it's a lot of times misusing our credit score to hinder us. And what I'd like you to do is help us to better prepare and situate ourselves to where our credit score doesn't be a hindrance to us as more it should be as an enabler to help us get to the next level. So
right.
I think the first area we need to start off with is talking a little bit more about LaShawn and telling the audience about your expertise and why you're so passionate about this area of finance.
Oh, well, that's a great one. Well, I'm LaShawn Blanchard. I'm here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, born in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Product of Zachary High Schools, go Broncos. I graduated from Southern University, A&M College here in Baton Rouge with a degree in mathematics, minor in computer science. Finished Southeastern with a master's in business administration with a focus in finance, and I have a law degree from Southern University Law Center.
Amen.
And so the education really doesn't mean a whole lot to a lot of people, but it put me in the right places at the right time.
Amen.
And so as a result of that journey, I call it an ordered step, because all of that was not my plan. But as a result of that, I've also been in financial services for the last 12 years, and simultaneously, I've also been in the background of bankruptcy law for the last 12 years.
Amen.
So what I think makes me so passionate about what I'm doing now is I think I always knew that I was going to help people in this area. I can remember being a little girl at Beech Grove Baptist Church right there on Thomas Road, over there by the zoo.
Amen.
And people would pass the collection plate for a funeral. And then somebody else would die and we wouldn't pass the collection plate. And I couldn't understand, well, what was the difference between the two? Of course, one family probably had life insurance and the other family didn't. And so somebody else had to. So what I found was that whenever there's a gap in our information, that somebody else was going to have to carry the weight. And so in order for that not to happen in our daily lives, we have to be educated in the area of finances so that kind of thing does not happen.
Amen.
And that's why we're here talking about credit today, because that's what will happen. Somebody else is going to end up carrying the weight or carrying that load unnecessarily if we don't educate ourselves about how credit works and how it affects a lot of the areas of our life.
Amen. Now, I could have you here every week and we talk about
A different
credit.
topic. I know.
And it'll be exciting. So
Right.
we're going to narrow this down. And I think the thing we want to focus on today is credit in relationship to employment.
Right.
Because, a lot of us are applying for jobs and a lot of us are graduating college and applying for jobs and wonderful interviewers and still not getting the actual job. And from what I understand, sometimes it is directly related to your credit score. So I'd like you to help us focus on today because it don't do you no good to go through all of that and have somebody tell you no by something that you could correct
Exactly.
yourself as well. So that's what I'd like
Exactly.
you to help us with. Sean, talk to us about how credit is hindering us when it comes to employment.
Exactly. Well, as many people do every time they apply for a job, you fill out all the necessary information. You fill out your contact information, the jobs you've worked, and at the bottom of that will be a little paragraph, and most people don't even read it. I call it the fine print. And in the fine print is asking permission for them to pull a background check on you. And in that background check is usually a credit report. Now, the credit report that an employer receives looks like a credit report that anybody else would pull. And so because of that, we need to be aware of some things when we're going in to apply.
Like what's on your credit report?
Like what's on there.
Amen.
So how do you find out? How do you find out what's on your credit report? You at least want to see what someone else will see before they're seeing it.
Amen.
So that if you have to explain something away, you can do that intelligently.
Amen. Amen. And that's something we never think about when we going on an interview to make sure that we have that part taken care of as well, because we make sure we put on the nice clothes and
That's
we
right.
brush the teeth and we
We're
comb.
sharp.
Yeah, we looking good, but we got to make sure we take care of some stuff in the background before
Exactly.
we show up. That's, and that's, don't nobody just tell you these kind of things,
Of course.
LaShawn, and that's
Of
the
course.
sad part about it.
Of course. And we talked about that last time. Financial literacy, unfortunately, is not taught in our schools. So a lot of us are learning these lessons in the school of hard knocks. We learn it along the way.
Amen.
Now, the interesting thing about that background check is, let's say that there are some things on your credit report. I mean, you knew they were there, and it really paints a picture that you have not necessarily been responsible. What in the world do you say? What in the world do you say? And I think we're going to talk about that a little later, but you have to first know the preventive, I think.
Amen.
I mean, we know that they're pulling your credit report. We know what they're going to see. When an employer pulls your credit report, there is an inquiry there, but it does not affect your credit score. And the employer is not seeing your credit score. They're seeing the credit history.
So they don't actually see my 635.
They don't see that.
They don't see my
They don't see that.
635. They see all of the details that
They see
led
the
up to my
details.
635.
Correct. They see
Which
the
a lot of
collections.
times is worse than my 635.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't you
huh?
much rather them have the number?
Ooh, just let them have the
Right.
635,
Right.
huh? God.
So they're seeing the collections, they're seeing the judgments, etc.
And that is probably the thing that's help them make a determination what type of individual you are.
Right. There is. And there's a lot of factors. But for that to be the last thing that they see, of course, it's like if the last thing that I told you was something negative, what would you think of me? So you have to look at that and be prepared to, again, answer intelligently about, these things that may be on there.
Amen, amen. Sean, every time you come, you take us to school, and this time it just happened to be financial literacy school. And, I can't thank you enough. We got to take a short break here to pay these bills. Don't y'all move. We'll be right back with Miss LaShawn. But here again, this stuff about credit and the gap, y'all have to pay attention. We'll be right back.
See the entire Tag Heuer collection today at Elgin's Fine Jewelry.
Let First Choice entertain you. Get a 42-inch flat screen HD TV, audio bar, and Blu-ray player with Wi-Fi for just $19.99 a week. Plus, get a $6 Redbox gift card as long as you rent. Come to any First Choice location for details or go to firstchoicerto.com.
First Financial of Baton Rouge, an accounting firm, approved to prepare, audit, and submit financial information for claims due to the BP Deepwater Horizon spill. If your business is located in Louisiana or Mississippi and you had lower revenues in 2010 than any of the previous 3 years, you're eligible to file. First Financial of Baton Rouge has filed over $80 million in claims. Look, there's no risk. Call today. 663-2382.
Welcome back to the Bottom Line. And if y'all just joining us today, we talking about financial literacy because we all could know a little bit more about money, right, LaShawn?
Exactly.
And particular today, we're talking about how our credit score may be hindering us from getting employed or getting promoted once we have employment. And, you know, it's amazing to me how they have taken that number and attached it to us to where it really has such power now. And if it has that type of power, you really need to be more mindful of it. And I know before we went away on break, you was pretty much telling us how the credit score is presently hurting individuals in employment. So now what I'd like you to tell us about, before I get ready to go on that interview, I know I done got my shoes shined, my hair cut,
Right.
all of the aesthetics is straight, but tell me about the behind the scene thing that I probably need to be more mindful of that they're using every day, like my credit score, and what I could do to better help myself with that.
Well, before you actually apply, you really should be pulling your credit report. You should pull your credit report at least once a year. Really conscientious people should be doing it at least twice a year.
Amen.
And you'll go to annualcreditreport.com to check that out. Annualcreditreport.com.
Now, is there a fee when I go to, because I see that commercialcreditscore.com or
Yeah.
Credit Karma, and
No.
you give them your card number and they be
Right.
charging you every other day.
No.
Is that what we?
There is no credit card required when you go to annualcreditreport.com.
All
The
right.
credit report themselves, again, once a year, is free.
Okay. Now give them that address again.
That's annualcreditreport.com.
And so if I go to annualcreditreport.com and key in my information, I could get access to the same thing, Expedia, Equifax,
Right. Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion.
all of those.
All three.
Very good, very good. Because, you know, if they're using it, I probably need to know what's on there
Exactly.
before I
Exactly.
go visit my future
Right.
employer, right?
Right. Now, one of the things and we've been talking about traps, right?
Mm.
If you go and fill out an application and they ask you about where you've worked,
Hmm.
okay, you know, there's a thing that you sign at the end saying that everything you said on this application is true and correct to the best of your knowledge,
Correct.
okay? And so when they pull your credit report and the job history that you've listed does not match the job history on the credit report, then you may look like you've lied on your application.
Now, who would think of doing something like that?
And it could be oversight, which is why you should pull your credit report. You want to see what someone will see before they see it.
Amen. Amen.
The other reason is there might be some things on your credit report that are actually incorrect, accounts that just don't belong to you. You know, I've never had a card with whoever. I never had a loan account with whoever. I never bought a car, whatever the case may be, or financed a car. And if that information is correct, that's where we come in. You know, that's where United Credit Education Services comes in. But that's another reason why you should be pulling your credit report, because there may be some things that you need to address. And you could at least say, well, I recognized when I pulled my credit report a week or so ago that this information wasn't correct. And I'm challenging that information, which is what you'll be saying to the employer if that should come up.
Amen, amen. And you know, LaShawn, that's a priceless answer right there. I promise you, if you articulate enough to give that answer in an interview,
Exactly.
that could make the difference between getting the job and not getting the job.
Absolutely. It says you have attention to detail, which is what most employers are looking for.
Exactly. You know, man, and as we sit here, I actually get new nuggets that I'm going to be able to pass on to my family, because
Right.
that's what it's really about, you know, making everybody around you more financially literate.
Correct.
You know, we're going to have another young lady come in here, and, you know, all of them is just focusing on financial literacy. And, you know, me being a male, I'm going to take hats off to you ladies who are out there who's becoming financial gurus, because here again, I believe understanding finance is really the difference between the haves and the have-nots as
You're
well.
absolutely right.
You have to have a keen understanding of financial literacy. And like you've told us time and time again, this is not being taught in our schools.
It's not even close. And we have 60% of our employers that have admitted they're at least checking the credit. And there are some positions that are more likely to have a credit check than others. If you're handling the money, they probably want to check your credit. If you are going to have access to trade secrets of the company, this is our secret sauce. This is how we do things. If you are a key employee, the person that has keys to the building, they're probably checking your credit. And the reason why they're doing that is they want to know, can they trust you? Mismanagement of your finances, mismanagement of your credit sometimes equates to mismanagement of the company's finances and the things that they hold important. And while a lot of employers agree that sometimes it's not an appropriate measure, a lot of them are still doing it. I mean, a lot of them have not done away with the credit check yet. So we have to be prepared either way.
Now, I understand that. I feel like anyway that there should be some type of line drawn to where my future employer has access to certain things that's pertinent just to me. And evidently my credit score and my credit history is no longer one of those things.
No, unfortunately it's not. Unfortunately it's not. And so the only reason why something like this is a measure is because what people have seen historically is what you've done in the last 2 years on your credit report is a lot likely what you'll do in the future. Okay. So they're taking a snapshot saying, this is you, this is how you work, this is how you handle things. And so if it's a chance that mismanagement of your funds might mean that you might, I don't know, let the wrong person in the door and merchandise might disappear, or you might mismanage something, they want to at least know that the red flag was there. And they would rather know that, there was no red flag there to begin with before they let you handle all of their secrets, information, money, etc.
So that's why a lot of us ain't getting the job.
It could be. Now there are some arguments out there that that's a small factor. It's just one of the factors. But again, that's why you need to be able to explain that, I was young, I got overextended, I really didn't handle things right. I'm handling things a lot better now. This is my plan to take care of it. If you're in the midst of paying something off like a judgment, that I'm handling it now, at least that you have an answer for what is going on with your credit report.
Sean, you're just a wealth of information. You give a person the armor they need to be successful when it comes to financial literacy, and I'm quite sure our audience enjoy that. We got to take a short break. We do have a few bills to pay around here.
Okay.
So don't y'all move, but while y'all going, y'all get y'all pen and y'all paper, because when we come back, Ms. LaShawn is going to give us some more information on some of the things that she has coming up to help all of us become a lot more financial literate. Y'all hurry back.
If you only download one app,
that app should be Four Woes. And now, the last Sunday of each month, someone is going to win a Four Woes app gift bag. Just click on the menu tab at the bottom and like our Facebook page. It's that easy. Then write a quick post so we know who you are. Just simply state, I should get the gift bag because it's that simple. Remember, the last Sunday of each month, we'll pick a winner.
For 20 years, First Choice has made your life better with our great selection of brand name furniture, electronics, and appliances at flexible payment plans to meet any budget. And at First Choice, there are no credit checks and no one's refused. Come into any First Choice location or shop online at firstchoicerto.com.
Hello, I'm Reverend A.J. Johnson with Baton Rouge AIDS Society. For the past 2 years, Baton Rouge has been number 1 in the country with the highest rate of AIDS cases. And 2 years before that, we were number 2 in the country. My thing is, let's be part of the solution and not the problem. Get tested, get your results, and get on with your life. If you think you don't have time to get tested, call 923-AIDS at Baton Rouge AIDS Society and become part of our anytime testing program. We test 24/7, 365. No needles, no blood, and get your results in 20 minutes. Get tested and know your results.
See the entire Tag Heuer collection today at Elgin's Fine Jewelry.
Welcome back to The Bottom Line, and if y'all just joining us today, we're so blessed to have Miss LaShawn Blanchard here again, blessing us with some more financial literacy. And, you know, we was focusing on today how employment and credit scores either work with each other or against each other. And what I know I've learned today is that you need to pull a copy of your credit report if you go and look for a job, if you already have a job, or if you're trying to get promoted on the job. And, you know, far as the relationship between those two, most of us have never really gave them a second thought. And, you know, we are constantly being systematically shut out by a lack of knowledge. So, you know, thank you again, Ms. Shawn. And before we leave, I know there's something in particular about this one thing. You know, everybody got their little pet peeve about all of their causes. Tell us something about this thing that just make you want to make it all better when it comes to employment and credit scores.
Well, we have a lot of people that are qualified in every other area of their life.
Amen.
They have the right education. They don't have a criminal record. They interview well. They have great communication skills. They are computer literate. Everything about them is a total package, except for their credit report. Their credit history paints a different picture. And so what we want to encourage people to do, just like you would check the mirror to go and interview for your job, you need to be checking your credit report, because nobody would go into an interview without checking to make sure that their face, their presentation was in check.
Amen.
And so you should be like that about your credit report. And when you find that those things are inconsistent with painting the picture of who you are to this company, then you need to come see me.
Amen, amen. And now when you say come see me, I need you to look right there in that camera now, because if you want to come see him, you got to tell him exactly where they could find you, your company name, how to get in touch with you, because I do believe there's a lot of folks out there that has benefit from this show and going to reach out because they want to benefit on their jobs.
Exactly. Well, I have an office based in Metairie, but because I'm in Baton Rouge and I do quite a bit of traveling, I'm a field trainer with this company. I can meet my clients anywhere they can arrive to, I can arrive to as well.
Amen.
So there is no limitation on that. But you can always find me. You can Google my name, LaShawn Blanchard. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can attach to me on Instagram at Credit Maven. You can find me on Twitter. And so if you want to call me, it's 225-650-3371. You can email me at lcblanchard.jd@gmail.com. In other words, if you need credit help, I can be found.
Amen, amen. And most of us need credit help. You don't mess around and
Exactly.
make me call you next week, because you know I need some credit help myself from time to time. So,
Right.
Ms. Blanchard, here again, I can't thank you enough. Like I said, this credit topic is definitely one of the traps that we find in the gap. And whenever you find time to come back and take us to financial literacy school again, we're going to love to have you here, Ms.
Great.
Blanchard.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate y'all for joining us. We'll see y'all here next week. That's the bottom line.
Video by TMB Productions, shot on the campus of Southern University. Set provided by First Choice Furniture. Contact The Bottom Line at contact@thebottomlinetvshow.com. This has been an AG production. If you only download one app, that app should be Four Woes. And now, the last Sunday of each month, someone's going to win a Four Woes app gift bag. Just click on the menu tab at the bottom and like our Facebook page. It's that easy. Then write a quick post so we know who you are. Just simply state, I should get the gift bag, because it's that simple. Remember, the last Sunday of each month, we'll pick a winner.